Story 1. She confessed and he is completely devastated. They are both 35 and have been together for 5 years, known each other from elementary school and some sort of childhood sweethearts. They were engaged for 2 years. Until a week ago they were trying to conceive their first child. 3 days ago, he thought she went to sleep and was reading a book. She suddenly appeared, all covered in tears, and said, "I'm so very sorry, I've cheated on you." Well, he supposes quite a lot of people around here knows what it felt like. Actually, he doesn't remember ever feeling such a wave of emotions before. White-hot fury, tremendous grief, disbelief, hate, physical pain. He didn't say anything, just packed his things, while she was following him around like a puppy, begging him to say something. The only thing he said was just before leaving the apartment, "Thank you for telling me." He never even thought he could hit a woman, but God forgive him, if she tried to touch him during that scene, he would have probably lost it. He is now so thankful she didn't. For the last 72+ hours he had 2 half-hour shut eyes. He is devastated. He can barely speak in complete sentences. His head is swirling, his heart rate is often through the roof, his mouth is dry, yet he is sweating. It hurts like AMF. He has so much work to do with the end of the year in sight. His mother is diagnosed with cancer, and he needs to look after her, and he just wants to lay down and cry himself to death. Why do people do this? Leave him and go have your fun. It will still hurt, but at least you are showing some respect for him, for his dignity and feelings. He just could not fathom how a person can lay with another and then come home and kiss him. Just writing this makes him sick. It's disgusting. She called yesterday, and after he composed himself a bit, he returned the call. They had a long talk, civil for the most part. She explained that for the past 8 months she didn't feel wanted, she didn't feel like a woman. This is somewhat true. He switched jobs and he had very steep learning curve to overcome. He was swamped with work and often dead tired. The situation with his mom also took its toll, so he is the first to confess that for some time their bedroom was not filled with fiery passion, and that was on him. He got a few details. Her partner was another boss with wife and children. They met on her job. It was one time. They used protection, but it was planned, not like they happened to meet in a bar drunk, etc. She said she knows that he is not a man to forgive or forget infidelity, and it is a red line for him, as he mentioned that to her several times during their years together. She said that she just couldn't bear it in her and lie to him anymore, although she was aware of the consequences. She said he was the love of her life. She said she wanted them to grow old together, and she said she hates herself and couldn't recognize the woman she turned into in that moment, but completely understands that he would not want to have anything with her anymore. Her only hope was that if time heals and he somehow find forgiveness in the future, she will be clean in her conscience and not a liar. He doesn't know what to think. He doesn't know what part of it is true and what not. He doesn't know if he is seeking an advice or a kind word or just need to take this off his chest. It's just so painful that he is constantly screaming inside. Update, before anything else, thank you. Thank you so much. Just the fact you've read through this, a version of which you have probably heard 1,000 times, and took your time to respond, tried to provide guidance, resources or insight is just overwhelming for him. That being said, since many of you commented or asked questions, he would like to add some bits of clarification. They are not married, but engaged, so there is no legal bonding. There would be, thankfully, no divorce, lawyers, etc. On the they've tried to conceive a child until a week ago means they were trying to for about 1.5 years now. They've checked themselves, and according to the doctors, they must have been fully able to create a life. They didn't, and he believes this had much bigger impact on her than she let go. She has a younger sister that got pregnant for a second time some months ago, and when they received the news, she was very happy, of course, but he could see that at the same time her heart sank. Stress, faith, not enough sex, bad luck. He doesn't know. She did communicate the issue, and they have talked about it in length on a few occasions. He's not defending her, it's just the facts. As personalities, they are very different. She always claimed that intimacy is one of, if not the most important part of a relationship. For him, it's up there, but not quite. He absolutely enjoys it, but he doesn't have a craving for it, he's guessing. So, he can go for a week or 2 without that kind of intimacy, while she has a hard time. He also apparently had difficulties expressing his desire for her, and again, she did communicate that before the whole affair. She always said that sex with him was great. She never turned him down, and actually, she initiated most of the time. That's basically sums the whole issue for her. She said that even if he wanted her, she hasn't felt it for quite a while, and in the end, she felt as it was her chasing him rather the other way around, which struck hard her ego and feminine side, he guesses. He must be clear here and confirm that as a whole, that assessment is correct. Actually, do you know what he believes prompted her confession? The fact that he took measures and in the recent month have been more proactive, approached her often, and they did quite well in the bed. He's not sure if it makes sense to you. In their long talk, she also expressed her desire to personally explain the reason for their breakup to her family and his family. She already did as far as her family is concerned. Her father called him yesterday. It was short. In essence, I'm very sorry for how things went down. You know that I respect you very much as a man, and I hope you two would find a way forward, if at all possible. She already approached his brother and they would speak today, tomorrow. As far as his mom, It's effed up situation. It will become clear around Christmas anyway, but she asked if he wanted it handled any other way. On the other pos in his own relationship, many of you suggested finding his wife, explaining the situation to her, etc. This is the one advice he cannot follow. His fiancé works at her father's family business, that was some kind of contractor, of which they have many. He really doesn't believe he has the energy and mental capacity of hunting him down and unraveling the whole thing. That's not who he is, and he's really scared for his sanity if he goes down that rabbit hole. He doesn't know who AP is, he doesn't know the situation in his relationship, he doesn't know any details, if she was told, by whom, etc. He absolutely understands where you are all coming from, but playing private detective and then executing a scorched earth tactic is fundamentally against his nature. Also, it might sound egoistically, and it probably is, but such an action would probably involve him uncovering things that would bring even more pain, and that's the last thing he wants right now. He reread the whole thing above and finds it mild and apologetic. Believe him, it's not, it's just how things are, from his perspective. Everything between them is over, just the thought of any contact with her repulses him. However, he wants to present the story as it is, not display himself as the ultimate victim and not display her as some demon in human skin. So, if someone reads it, they can, hopefully, draw some lesson from the implosion of his own relationship. Again, thank you all for every encouraging word and every bit of advice. He is deeply humbled. He would try to update after a few weeks and share how he deals with the aftermath. Reader comment, so, instead of clinging to you, her overburdened spouse, working on the marriage and recovering the intimacy and closeness, she decides to have a co-worker place his latex-covered member in her. If this is how she treats the difficult times in your marriage, you're better off without her. Original poster, Opus was thinking the same. Story 2. Intrusive thoughts after ex-GF cheated. Male 29 or female 22. He's really having a hard time with this and he's sorry, but he needs y'all's help. He found out his GF cheated months ago. She started her affair in end of January, ended in August when he found out. Long story short, she lied a lot and she had a physical affair with AP multiple times. She said they didn't get physical until halfway through it. She said she didn't want to have physical affair with him or set out to do that. It was like an escape from the tedium, she says. She said that she felt like if she didn't give in to his advances, he would not let her come over anymore. He was so dumb. She has a terrible relationship with her father, especially after he and her mother separated when she was a toddler. She would not like seeing him in the ensuing years he was verbally abusive. Though she lived with her mother, it was not much better, but there was some kind of love there, he thinks. He was having an off time himself mentally. He had never been depressed until this time, and he feels like it's all his fault she did this. She never said anything was wrong. He admits he wasn't as physical as maybe he should have been. He always made her come though when they did. She has trouble finishing unless orally helped, so he'd do that every time happily. What really bothers him is that he saw pictures of the AP's member and he's a bit bigger than him, and it crushed his soul. All these thoughts about did he make her come like him or any of her exes never could shattered his self-esteem and shook his confidence as a man in ways he never could dream of. Did she moan more for him? Did she like it that much more that she continued to go? He loved her as purely as a man can love a woman. She was his best friend. This self-doubt kills. He's been with 3 other girls in a strictly physical aspect since then. He told them upfront, so they know he's not using people or being unfair to their emotions and rebounding. They've all made comments about how big he is, and he just feel like they are all lying to him. Did her cheating awaken some kind of body dysmorphia in him? He's so hurt that she could spread herself for another guy like that and not think about him, who's done everything he could with what he had to make her happy. Everybody says it her and not on him, but he can't re-rack the barbell of guilt off his shoulders of it being his fault and let it go. He has seen this guy. He may be a bit thinner than him, but he's shorter by a lot. He's 63 and he looked nothing like her type. He knew about him too and still did it. He'll always hate him too. He has noticed that he's been engaging in self-flagellation through diet and exercise too. He swims 150 laps a day and goes to the gym for 2 hours every day except Sunday. He's obsessed with being better than a P. Why? He doesn't understand. She never told him why she did it either, except I wasn't happy. She never once said that to him about their relationship. Nobody is perfect, especially living in close proximity. He wants this to be over and no more thoughts. He finally pulled the plug and cut contact recently. Yes, he's weak for not doing it sooner, he knows. She doesn't know he knows that she still sees the guy and talks to this day, so she denies it. He doesn't even know who she is anymore. Sorry for the rant and wall of text. He wouldn't wish this on anyone. Story 3. Wife had same-sex affair, is confused, depressed, and I'm dying inside. 2 weeks ago, he found out his wife was having an affair for the last 2-3 months with a same-sex co-worker. She claims she's not gay and has never been attracted to women and is very confused. She claims she needs space, but as she is in a deep depression, he's learned that space is really just her existing. He has spent the last 3 days at his parents' house out of state after being out of town for work all of last week. They've both been seeing a counselor, the same counselor, just separately, which he's starting to wonder if that's a good idea or not. He's devastated but willing to work on their marriage. She initially claimed that at first, but the last 2 weeks have made him wonder. Her family is a very strong Christian family and now he's afraid if he is the one she wants to move forward with it will be because she didn't want to reveal her true self or this situation to her family. He's doing everything in his power to offer her support, help her get help to address her depression. They haven't talked in 3 days as he's trying to give her space and it's killing him inside. He's struggling. Has anyone ever dealt with a similar situation? This holiday season has definitely lost its cheer and he's gutted. Any advice or words of encouragement are appreciated. Also, his DMs are open if anyone wants to talk with him through this. Reader comment: many will tell you that infidelity is infidelity regardless of gender, dump her and move on. And if it was a guy, that would be my advice too. Personally, I might be willing to work through this. Maybe. What I would do is talk to the wife and explain what I need to maintain the marriage, and that is honesty. I would need her to treat me like her deepest confidant, the one she can say anything to, no matter how that hurts as long as it's honest and true. The truth will set us all free but lies put us in cages and cause us pain. I would need her to prove that she can be my best friend. The rest will follow. Just work with me, tell me the truth, and we can find the best path forward for both of us. If she can provide that, then at least you are starting from a strong foundation. It's okay if she doesn't have the answers, and it's okay if that is a deal breaker for you. The infidelity does still need to be addressed. That's a wound to the marriage regardless of the genders involved. There are lies and betrayal to heal if that's the direction you choose. Original poster, The Opus thanks you for the insight. He wishes so badly it were this easy as this is really how he feels. The distance between them with him not being home and the walls she has up with her confusion and depression doesn't allow him in. He's trying so hard to save this marriage, but he's not sure if it's being reciprocated. But at the same time he doesn't know what's fair to expect as she deals with her own issues with this. He wants to be a support system, but at what cost to himself? Reader comment: if you do not have kids, I would cut my losses and bail. Infidelity is not a mistake. A person does not accidentally trip and have been intimate with another. She had to make many conscious decisions to do what she did. You can rug sweep it and be back here in a year, saying how could she again, or you can divorce and find a woman with morals and integrity. Everything comes down to character, every time ... for everything. The only reason I would even suggest considering reconciliation is if minor children are in the picture. Original poster, no kids, would definitely complicate this further. Reader comment: I've always heard it's good to have separate counselors, although I share one, too. I don't mind it personally. If you feel like your therapist is compromised by knowing both of your inner workings, I will find another one if you can. I'm sorry you're going through this. She made a bad decision that is now reaping the consequences, but it doesn't mean you have to not try to repair. How are you feeling right now emotionally? Original poster, emotionally he's meh. He wants so badly to communicate but these walls are making it impossible. Trying to take it day by day, but that's hard. These 3 days away have felt like 3 weeks. He's not a patient person by nature and he wears his heart on his sleeve, so it's really affecting him. Struggling to focus on work, etc. Thankfully he has a supportive family and friends who have been available to talk to, though this is hard on them. His parents and siblings view his wife as an extension of their family. They still love her and hope so badly she joins them for the holiday.